what are your favourite memories of serving the people of St. Joseph's?
Well, I have to say that it was a very happy time in my life. The previous parishes that I had been in, first of all, well, when I came to Windsor, I discovered winter. I had never seen the glory of winter before. It's snow and the blue skies and skidoos and ice fishing and all that sort of thing. But when I came to Windsor, it was an absolute breath of fresh air. I wasn't the boss, so I didn't have all the responsibility of trying to raise money and keep things in repair and everything like that. But I had lots and lots of free time on my hands, and well, one of the things that I did, I visited the homes, and I visited every single home in the parish.
I recall that. I still hear people who talk about that back then, what you'd done, and they thought it was a great thing.
You know something, it was a wonderful thing too. It was wonderful. A lot of the people, like they hadn't been involved in the parish and been away from the church and that sort of stuff. And I just knocked on their door and said, I'm Father Brophy, I'd like to come in for a visit. And they'd come in. They didn't know what to make of it. And I'd sit down and I'd say, I'd like to have a cup of tea. And sure enough, you know what I mean? But after a while listening to them, no matter who it was, they had their story. And some of them made their way back to the back of the church, you know? And that was a very happy memory. And I remember in the summers were glorious here. You know, like I would grow up in St. John's, half fog, half rain, tomorrow sunshine, but only for a few hours. When I came here, sunshine all day long. Anyway, I had a great big car. I had a Dodge Monaco, and she used to go 100 miles an hour when she was stopped. But I used to go up on the road, and all the children would be playing there. This is in, you know, probably 11 o'clock in the day. And I'd say, this car is leaving for Leach Brook in 2 minutes. Whoever is aboard is aboard, and whoever is not aboard is not aboard. And they'd fill up the car, you know, no seat belts in those days, and the front of the car full and the back of the car full and off to Leach Brook. So there's lots of little tiny memories like that. Like, I did a lot of hiking and that sort of stuff. I remember one time there was a little prayer group here with a group of boys, young boys, and one girl, and Donna was her name. And we met all the time faithfully. We had lots and lots of fun and lots of wonderful discussions and that sort of stuff. But all of that group of boys, we went up the Gaff Topsails on the train, and we had a night or two up on the Gaff Topsails. And that was a magic moment too.
My memory of the Gaff Topsails is we all went to bed in our tents and everything, and next thing you know, we hear this like roaring sound like a bear, frightened the life out of us in the tent next door. And this was you snoring. I remember that plain as day. I even remember the train trip. It was a great time.
Yes, that's right. Well, I don't remember snoring. I never woke myself up. I never snored loud enough to wake myself up.
The prayer group, we used to play darts, I believe, also into St. Mike's, and we used to frequent the Globe Cafe.
We did.
Quite often.
We'd have a cup
and I gotta say, that was a very enjoyable part of my growing up, and I really enjoyed that group. We used to discuss the reading from the Bible and talk about what it meant and everything. And I gotta say that while it lasted, that was one of the great things about growing up at St. Joseph's.
Wasn't it? It was.
Yes.
It was a very pleasant experience in my life as well too. And even though these young men like yourself were only, you know, 15, 16, 17, whatever age they were around that time, you know, when we got together to talk and discuss, they took it very seriously, you know, and we entered very, very deeply into some wonderfully, human and spiritual topics.
Father Brophy, I'm going to ask you now, as a young priest, what was life like under Father Meany? Like, Father Meany was often touted as being this rough and tumble person who was really tough and rough, but Father Meany was softer than most people's teddy bear when it really got down to it. He was very kind-hearted, from stories I'm after hearing from people of Windsor who he helped, and not only the Catholic people, he helped Protestant people, and he helped whoever needed the help. What was it like living with Father Meany?
Well, first of all, you said he was, robust. The first thing you encountered was his voice, and he had a voice like a foghorn. He could knock you down with his voice. He was that loud, and robust. But I had a wonderful advantage in that I had been in other parishes, and I had been ordained about 8 years. If I had just been ordained and walked in like a little altar boy, I tell you, he would have terrified me, because he was a very formidable character in every way. And but like you said, he was also a father, and he loved the people of Windsor. He said to me one time, he said, if you can't make it in Grand Falls, come to Windsor. If you can't make it anywhere, come to Windsor. And he really did, love the people in that way. I remember the first time, we had a housekeeper, which was a wonderful thing for me. Her name was Kay, and she'd make meals, at lunch and then at supper. But I remember I'd pass behind him on my way in to sit down. I used to look at the back of his neck. His neck was that big. He had a head that came right down into his, I got a little tiny, probably 15 and a half or 16 collar, like a little chicken neck or something, But his neck, it had to be 17 and a half or 18. He was absolutely huge. He was a bull of a man. And when he spoke, there was no ifs, ands, or buts. But people came to him, and they came to him for advice. And he was just as direct with them, But they walked away with that, and they lived by it. And it was almost like Moses speaking to them on the mountain, And when he spoke, they knew that what he was saying was genuinely from his heart. And even though it was...
If you were in the back of the church and you were talking, you knew it, because Father Meany would leave the altar, come down, and take you by the ear or what have you, and bring you right to the front of the church and sit in the pew.
But you'd be amazed at how many young fellas got a clip from him, or a smack on the back of the neck or something like that.
In school.
In school or out of school. But something, there was so many fellas told me that they got it, but they bragged about it. It's like a war wound, But but like most, if you gave a youngster a smack nowadays, oh my goodness gracious, who knows where you'd end up, you know what I mean? But he must have trimmed quite a few. But at the same time, I don't think he could have possibly given out as many smacks as the boys. I think they all heard about someone else and thought it was themselves, or bragged about it or something. But I don't know if he did all the wonderful things that they said he did.
From what I can gather from talking to people, like one gentleman was in his 60s, he said his Father Meany helped his family immensely when they were younger. He said only for Father Meany, he said they would have been all fell apart.
There you go.
Financially, he helped them because they were having hard times and that, and he said he kept us going.
There you go. And the people that he had working around the church and that sort of stuff, some of those, the ladies and that sort of stuff, it was hard to get work then, and he helped them immensely, and people would come to the door on the sly, and they'd tell them their story, and he always found some little bit of help to give them. And like you said, not only Catholic people too, but there was others as well. He was very, very, he was kind on the sly. And I think it was a supermarket or a big store down here. Stewards. And I think that
Him and George
they were
worked together.
They were kind of close, and Father Meany would send a person down there and they'd collect some groceries.
I used to hear that Christmas time, whether it's correct or not, Father Meany, Harry Chow, and George Stewart would do up baskets for people that needed it in Windsor.
Correct.
And no one knew where it came from. And that's the way George wanted it, and I guess that's the way Father Meany wanted it, because there are people out there who know who they are and what went on back years ago, right?
Isn't that true? Yeah. And there was a lot of, as you know, there was a lot of poor families here, and people that needed a little bit of help. He was there for me. My favourite memory of Father Meany. Well, I tell you, I don't know if this is my favourite memory of him, but I'll tell you a memory of him, okay? It was Good Friday, and we had at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, we were going to go to the church, and we'd have our celebrations for Good Friday, you see? Now, there was the thing called the petitions or intercessions. Now, there was an introduction, we'd pray for our Holy Father, the Pope, and we'd pray for the bishops. And then we'd pray to the Lord, Now, he was at the altar, and I was up in the pulpit. 3 o'clock, the church was jam-packed. You couldn't get in another cigarette paper. Locked, solid. So anyway, we had it arranged, he'd do the introduction and I'd do the prayer and sort of stuff. So anyway, when I got up in the pulpit, I figured out just in a minute a better way of doing it, you see. So anyway, I said my little prayer and then it was up to him, But it wasn't exactly how we had organized it. So anyway, he stopped and he did his prayer. Anyway, I went on with this, the next petition, we're praying for the sick or whatever we're praying for. And I waited for him. Now, I had changed it up in the pulpit in the meantime. He stopped at the altar. Now, there's 1,000 people there in the church. Father Brophy, he said. Now you could hear him all around the world. He said, "You're doing it incorrectly." He said, "You're supposed to be doing it like this." And every person in the pew, was drawing back, as if to say, "Oh, Father Brophy, I'm glad it's you and not me." Here's me up in the pulpit now. Everyone looking at me, and Father Meany correcting me in front of 1,000 people, you know what I mean? But he didn't do it out of any malice or anything like that. It's just that I was doing it incorrectly, and he was going to show me how to do it right. But in front of 1,000 people. So I had a few memories of that sort, you know what I mean? But looking back on it, he was a wonderfully pleasant man, and full of the most profound insights. Like I was always quizzing him. I was always, like I'd say to him, "Father, what is the most important or most valuable virtue for a priest?" I'd say that, something like that. And he'd say, right off the bat, "Faithfulness." He'd say, "Anyone can be ordained," he said. But he said, "when you get down the trenches," he said, "when you start getting your feet dirty," he said, "and everything starts going the wrong way for you, that's when that's when you decide your vocation," he said. He said, "Anyone can do it," he said, "when it's all smooth sailing," he said. But he said, "if you can carry on," he said, so But he was full of his own homespun wisdom, and he was a joy in that way, you know.
Thank you, Father.
Thank you, Wayne. Thank you. And I hope and pray that all the people that come for this special occasion will find it a time of joy and blessing.
Hopefully you'll find time to come up.
I hope I will. I hope I will. God bless you. Thank you, Wayne.
Thank you.